Hey guys, Ralph here. Welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this wonderful Wednesday here in Connecticut. Life's good, campers. Life is good. Very sticky and hot out, even though it's not super. My daughter's dealing with 110 out in Arizona, and it's not bad, so I'm not going to complain, but it is sticky. Anyway, you saw the thumbnail. More on Lynn Nicholson. He's a very compelling figure that elicits quite a bit of discussion. So let's get to it. All of it good, and all of it, different approaches and everything, I think is very good. All right, so I have played earlier today. I went out and did some errands, and I'm back. So, the first notes of the afternoon. Anyway, Lynn Nicholson, let's talk, guys. First of all, I got several comments, and I got dozens of emails. As I said, most of the communication comes via the emails. I think even though the trolls have calmed down a little bit, they do rear their ugly head, and I think people are a little hesitant to do that, and that's fine. Email me if you wish. Now, I am going to leave a link that my buddy Joe Triscari sent me of down below of a interview with Lynn Nicholson. Okay, Trumpet Hangs or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with them. But anyway, here's the deal, and this is what I feel about Lynn Nicholson. At what he does, he is absolutely spectacular. There's no question about it. He's spectacular. Is he the best ever? Okay? Now, one of the reasons I'm putting the link down below is that it will corroborate everything that I'm about to say. Okay? Now, he said, he was asked what was the difference with the transition from being on the road to going to the LA studios before he went to Las Vegas. Okay? And he said he was on Bill Chase's band, he was on Maynard Ferguson's band, and he was on Buddy's band. And Buddy wanted him to play lead trumpet at his club out in New York City, but during the tour, on the way out to New York, the club went bankrupt. And he was set to play with Buddy as long as Buddy would have him. But it didn't work out. So he's out of work. He goes back to LA and tries to get in the studios. Now here's the thing, and it's about the 13-minute mark. It's a very, very long yet interesting interview. But if you want to just get to the meat and potatoes of what I'm talking about, it's in about the 13-minute mark. So he says, the thing about Chase, Maynard, and Buddy is you learn the book. And 8 shows a week, whatever the case may be. That's what you're playing. LA and the studios, everything is different day in, day out. Everything's different. You do 3 a day. It's 3 completely different things. You might do three different mounts, and he wasn't ready for that. He was the first one to tell you. And again, this is me just paraphrasing. And he says he's sitting next to these legendary trumpet players. And he mentioned Ray Triscari, he mentioned John Audino, and all these guys. And he's sitting there and he's saying to himself, what the hell am I doing here? He really felt humbled and overmatched. And after a while, days, weeks, it became quite evident what he was there for. The high notes. Even compared to these guys, Triscari, he had even more high notes than they did. And that is what I'm talking about. For what he does, I do believe he is the best ever. He is right there with Cat Anderson. That's potato, patata. I'm not getting into it. Johnny Madrid was there too. He wasn't as big a name as them. And there's other guys. But for what he does, I think he was tremendous. Now, here's the deal. Not to say he was not a terrific lead player. But when you're talking Conrad Gaza, when you're talking Triscari, when you're talking with Ardino, when you're talking playing with Doc Severinsen, that's a different thing. Just because he wasn't at that level doesn't mean he wasn't a very, very competent lead player. Okay? Not at that level. Now, I'll make a comparison. I said yesterday that Cat Anderson was a very, very underrated jazz player. Was he as good as, Clark Terry? Was he as good as Dizzy? Was he as innovative as Miles? No. He's the first one to tell. Well, can't anymore. But the point is, just because he's not at that level doesn't mean he was an excellent jazz player. That is where Lynn Nicholson falls. Maybe his lead playing and maybe his other type of playing, studio stuff, didn't lend itself to be the top notch, but it was the next best thing. So you have across the board, you have a solid, if not excellent player in all facets, plus all those high notes. You've got a terrific player. You have a terrific player. Now he, again, all these things that I'm talking about, he backed up. He says, that's what I'm doing here. The high notes. And again, I think he was tremendous at that. Now, my friend Nick, I'm going to talk to later today, called and said, don't you think he's overblowing? Yes and no. Now again, when he talks about chops, I don't agree with everything he says. Now, do I think he's working too hard? Yes. Okay? Yes. Cat Anderson was not. Up to Triple C, he was not overblown. But I do believe Lynn Nicholson was stronger than just about everybody above Double C. I do believe he was stronger than Johnny Madrid. Cat Anderson, that's splitting hairs. It really is. So is he overblowing? Yes. Okay? But I'm telling you what, guys, when you are going above Double C, there's work to be done. There is work to be done. That is hard work. And I told you. Now, it's another thing. You look at his chops are not mangled in the traditional sense. Not mangled at all. Okay? Do I think he's working too hard when I see him with just the rim? Yes, he's playing way too much pressure. But he's above Double C, yeah, with an enormous tone. Does it get distorted sometime? Is it always pedal to the metal? Is there, do we not caress the baby? Maybe. But that's what he gets paid for. That's what everybody wanted, and he was great at. So, that is where I stand on Lynn Nicholson. I've done several videos on him, and I can't praise him enough. But, is he Mel Broyles? Is he Maurice Andre? Is he Harry? No, I don't put him in that level. And if he was sitting right here now, I almost guarantee you he would not put himself in that conversation either. But you got to think, guys, he's the next best thing. And for what he does, spectacular. Maybe the best ever. Okay, guys, on this one, I would like you to leave your comments down below, because I'm telling you, everybody is, if you don't want to, you don't want to. But a lot of discussion with this. And a lot of, oh my God, I heard him when he did this, that, and the other thing. And that's one of the reasons I fell in love with him. Hero worship. He was on the band the first time I heard Maynard Ferguson. Spectacular. Anyway, that's that. So guys, I told you tomorrow, and I'll remind you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the last one of the week. Friday's getting crazy. Maybe I'll do a little something this weekend. But we'll talk again on Monday. But I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, guys. I hope that clears up my stance. Give your comments and criticisms, Dad. Just give your comments. Keep your criticisms to yourself. All right, guys. Love you all. Bye-bye.